Hey everyone. In some of my last videos, we've seen how we could use stub areas to do summarization in OSPF. Um, but as you've seen, when you do the stub area, you can only summarize into the sub area. You're not doing summarization into area zero. And now we can't turn area zero into a stub area. Um, for a number of reasons, but one of them being that stub areas cannot be used as a transit network. So in this video, we're going to go over summarization in OSPF, and we're going to look at it from two different perspectives. We're going to configure summarization just inter-area, and then we're going to summarize external routes because they're actually two different commands. So the first thing we'll do is just a quick overview of the topology. Um, we have two areas. We have routers 1 and 2 are in area 12. Everybody else is in area 0. The only router doing redistribution is area 6, which has a bunch of loopbacks, which are being redistributed into OSPF. So the first thing we'll do is let's go on R3, because R3 is a nice in the middle of the network. And let's just take a look at the show IP route. Actually, we'll do the database first. Let's do show IP OSPF database. So we could take a look, and we have some external routes. We'll take a look at those in a minute. The first thing we're going to do is take a look at the type 3 LSAs we have. We have 12, 13, 14, and 15, which are all coming from router 2, which obviously is a great spot for summarization. We have 12, 13, 14, 15 right in a row, all coming from the same router. Now, if we look at our topology, this makes sense. R1 is sending these links to R2. R2 is the only way to get there. So why not summarize them into area 0? Now, I do want to point out really quick before I go any further, you cannot do summarization within an area. So for example, router 3, if I wanted to summarize some loopbacks on router 3 into area 0, or actually that's probably a bad example, because let's say R4. Let's say R4 wanted to summarize routes from R3 to R6, but all three of the routers are completely in area 0. That is not allowed. And the reason being is because within the area, all of the routers have to have an identical view of the database. That's what makes the link state protocols work, is all of the routers have to have the same view of the database. So in this situation, we can do some summarization because router 2 is an ABR. So you can do summarization on an ABR. So let's head over to R2 and let's take a look at what we can do. So we would go into OSPF, and we're going to be taking the routes from area 12 and putting them into area 0. Therefore, we're going to do the area 12 command, and from here we'll do range. So as you can see, summarize routes matching address/mask, and importantly, border routers only. We cannot do this within an area. So area 12 range. And let's take a look at R1 just so we can remember what those links are. We'll do a show IP OS interface brief. We have 12, 13, 14, and 15. And that actually didn't help show IP route. 12, 13, 14, 15 are all /8 networks. So if we do our math correctly, what we can do is let's do the range of 12, 0, 0, 0. And for the mask, let's say it's 252, 0, 0, 0. I'm not going to go over the subnet mask 100% here, the summary math, but if you want a good site to practice subnetting, um, there is a website called subnetting.net. I'll bring it up here. Subnetting.net. It's actually, you could do for free. You can go subnetting practice, and you just do a bunch of subnetting questions. This will help you, not only, well, I guess it won't help you learn subnetting, but once you know the concepts behind it, it'll help you be quicker. Um, and you could be able to do this stuff off the top of your head. So 12.0.0.252.0.0.0. And after that, we could specify the cost if we want. We could not advertise it. There are reasons for that. We're not going to get into that into this video. And then we have advertise, which is default. So we're going to advertise this into area 0. Now let's head back to R3 and let's take a look at the routing table. Um, 12.0.0/6 is our summary route. And as you can see, 13, 14, 15, 16, the /8 routes are no longer there. So it looks like our summary worked. And if we do the show IP OSPF database, we can see our database has shrunk as well. So instead of having the, I could scroll up so we can find it. Let's go back. Our summary net link stakes here, we had 12.0.0.1, 13, 14, 15. Now we just have the 12. And we still have full reachability, so we could still ping, let's say 13.0.0.1. And then 14 and 15, well, we can make sure this is a good way to test our summary is including the routes that we want. 14, 15. Great. And we know we didn't go too far because we could see that we're still learning routes from 16. So our summary of a /6 was perfect. So if we go back to R2, remember area 12. So the area that we're coming from, that's the area we want to configure the range command for. And then we just area range, and it takes all those type 3 LSAs, rolls them into one for the summary route, and advertises them into area 0. Okay, so now let's take a look at the other type of summarization. We'll do a show IP OSPF database, and we'll begin with type 5. So again, we have the same exact situation. These are all /8 routes, but these are now type 5 external routes that are coming from R6. So let's head over to R6. And because the summarization is external, it's done in a different way. Router OSPF 1. So in this case, we don't use the area range command. Instead, we use the summary address command. Summary address. Let me see. Let's actually just take a look here. Yep. Okay. Configure IP address summary. Sometimes it tells you interesting things, but in this case, pretty self-explanatory. So summary address. Our first route is 16.0.0.0, and we're going to configure that /6 again. And again, we have not advertised. NSSA only. This limits the summary to NSSA areas, which is interesting because, we've seen before the type 5 to type 7 translation. In this case, the summary LSA would be a type 7 LSA, and you wouldn't be allowed to do the type 7 to type 5 translation. Obviously not this scenario, we're all just in area 0. You could also set a tag. But we're just going to configure the summary address. Let's head over to another router. So we'll head over back to R3 and let's see if we converged already. We did. So now we can see that the 4 type 5 LSAs just are now 1. And if we do show IP route OSPF, we can see now we have our E2 route for 16.0.0.0/6. So this has been a quick little video on how to do summarizations in EIG, well, in OSPF. You've seen the area range command to do inter-area summaries, and then the summary address command to do external summaries.